So we are trying out the base here. So we are in the creepy basement. Bum, bum, bum. Which I'm okay with. The whole idea is that I can work down here off hours. It's currently like 6:30 in the morning. I don't want to start making noise yet upstairs. Hey guys, welcome in. We are in the basement on the scroll saw. We're cutting out some drop spindles for making yarn. There we go. Now I'm verifying that the center hole is, well, centered. Which it is. So when I put the patterns down, we put a layer of blue painter's tape down and then glue the paper pattern to the top. That way when we're done, we can pull it off. And we don't have any residual adhesive on it, so it won't be sticky. So we'll cut this one out. This is black walnut. This is 5/8 of an inch thick. So it is about, what, 18 or 19 mil. So we are cutting on a 16-inch buck tool scroll saw. It's a double parallel arm saw. So the reason why I'm using this saw rather than a different saw, this saw is the smallest double parallel arm saw I have. So it's also the lightest. do a test fit. Yeah, this walnut's pretty. Have another walnut. Might want to put the blade back on. So the basement is damp. It's an unfinished basement in a 100-year-old building. Actually, a 126-year-old building. So it'll be a good test to see how this saw deals with the humidity. So the wood itself, I'm bringing down here and then bringing back up. It's not living down here. So the workshop is a little bit more than a half mile away from my house. So I walked this morning. I work with my girlfriend, and obviously she's still sleeping. It was a nice walk today. Nice and cool. It was like 61 degrees outside. Threw a sweatshirt on and walked to work. I live in a metropolis. I believe I saw 3 cars on the way to work. So, almost running out of coffee. I'm going to have to get another cup in a minute. So I'm using a number 7 blade. This is an Olsen Precision Ground Tooth blade. It's a double skip tooth modified geometry blade. It also has reverse teeth on it. So it's a very aggressive blade. As far as scroll saw blades go, with Olsen, I like the Mach Speed and the PGT blades. The rest of them I'm really not a fan of. So, as far as Olsen goes, those are the only 2 blades I buy from them. Where Nikwa, which is sold in the United States under the name Flying Dutchman, I like their ultra reverse blades. I get them in, a bunch of different sizes. Same with Pegas. So the Pegas blades and the Nikwa blades I get from Bear Woods. They ship from America and from Canada. So not being sponsored by them, but they do a good job. Where the Olsen blades I either get from Menards or I order them from their website. And when I do order them, I order them by the gross. Darrell, hello, welcome in. Hey B, welcome in. So if you're just joining in, we are on the scroll saw today. We're making some drop spindles. These are Turkish style. They're used for spinning yarn. It's what came before the spinning wheel. So this is my day job. This is what I do for a living. So we are just setting up a shop in the spooky basement down here, just so if I can't sleep or if it gets super, super hot, I could come down in the basement. I think if I bring a box fan down here, I think I'll be all set. It actually works out really nice because I have the ceiling to mount the camera to. So this does have an arm that does raise and lock in place, but with these, they're so thin, it's just easier just to tweak the blade over. So I am wearing hearing protection. It's also a Bluetooth headset, so I am currently watching some TV. So I have my computer running upstairs, and then I am using my tablet. Well, it was streaming fine until I mentioned it. So it's basically background noise. So we're currently cutting cherry. Got a bunch of cherry, and then I've got some maple coming up here. So we are getting a super nice finish. You can actually see the light bouncing off it. So they take a little bit longer to cut than if I was to do it on a bandsaw, but you get a much nicer finish. And there we go. So there's, I also turn a big long shaft that goes on these. So they look kind of like a big top. So the nice thing about the scroll saw is you can make internal cuts. So you drill an entry hole, then you can take the blade off, you know, put it in, and then lock it in place. So I have to open this one up just a hair. There we go. So I can see the chat if you guys have any questions. You know, we're just cutting out some wood on the scroll saw. We're making Turkish drop spindles. Well, we're making the arms for Turkish drop spindles. All right, this one I am going to not cut. That void is right in the middle there. So that one's clean. So after we're done with this one, we're going to go for an adventure. We're going to go upstairs and get some coffee. I know, it sounds just about as thrilling as it can be. So I'm just verifying the width is right. Yeah, this batch is good, but I, keep an eye on it regardless. As far as the height goes, that's a constant, so it's not going to change. Merrick, hey, welcome in. There we go. All right, let's go get some coffee. So we are in the basement. And it's very nice that the lights have the guards on them because it is they are quite low. So, welcome to the workshop. So, yeah. Well, when I made this cup, I wasn't paying attention and I didn't reverse the image. So it became my coffee cup rather than being able to sell it. So, oh, I like my creamer with coffee. So, this is what they're going to look like when they're done. Well, when they're ready for sanding. Grab my blower. All right. Hey, Double X, welcome in. Welcome to the Fungin. So I actually do a lot of finishing down here. We do a lot of staining. So if you can see how everything is kind of green. They're drop spindles. They're used to spin yarn. So it came before the spinning wheel. So you can see how everything's green here. When I first moved in, I couldn't figure this out. So they have an old oil drum here. Fuel oil drum that they cut out. So when I was young, there was a silk screening shop in here. So this is emulsion all over the walls down here. This is where they would have washed out the silk screens. Come on. Oh, make something? And hello. right, do a test fit. Fits good. Now you want to give yourself a little bit of room here. You don't want them to be like super, super tight in there because it's going to expand and contract with moisture. So leave yourself a little room so you got some wiggle room. Once you start using it, the first time you wrap the yarn on it, it firms everything up. So you might notice I'm constantly flicking this and making sure it's got tension. Should have a high pitch, like a middle C kind of tone to it. So if you're just tuning in, we are cutting out Turkish-style drop spindles for spinning yarn. We're currently cutting cherry. This is 5/8 inch cherry, or I believe it's 19 mil, 18 mil, somewhere in that region. It's got my birth measurement. So it's almost 2 of the 10 millimeter sockets that I'm always losing. That being said, I do most of my designing in metric. Just makes more sense. All right, let me grab some coffee and we'll keep going here. Oh. All right. Yep, so this saw is a 16-inch buck tool. So this saw does have a locking arm. So you can pull that up. Gives you a lot of clearance so you can put things in. And then you got to pull that pin back. So this style saw, these are made by Chansen. for Buck Tool. So they also make scroll saws for Rikon, King, Buck Tool, Bauer. There's a bunch of different companies. Chansen, they also make a lot of equipment for, well, besides Rikon, they do a lot of stuff for Nova, so Technatool. So, big company. So the nice thing about the 16-inch, you can actually reach over and grab the pin. The 22-inch is kind of out of the way. I do have a video on how to make a little handle to release the pin. You keep breaking blades. Yeah, it kind of takes a while to get a feeling for the saw. As far as blades breaking, if the blades are old, if they're brittle, they'll tend to break. You should be able to take the blade. Well, let's swap this blade out. You should be able to take the blade and bend it. If they snap right away, it might be the blade itself. Or you might not have enough tension on it. Or you might have too much tension on it. Be putting too much pressure on it. So this blade here, I was saying how it was a double skip tooth. So you can see how there's that big gap there. So you got 2 teeth, then a gap, which is the same distance as 2 teeth, and then 2 teeth, and then a big gap. These gaps are called gullets. So that gives the sawdust a place to go. So this will actually cut faster than a blade that has teeth all the way. You know, if it had 2 teeth there. This actually clears material faster. And it's a reverse tooth. So, getting a wicked shadow. Okay, so these are facing up. And then the rest of the blade, they're facing down. That way, it'll keep the bottom from getting tear out. So this blade does have an up and a down to it. So you can kind of see the gap right there. You bought them on Amazon for cheap. That might be part of the issue. Take your time with it. Don't force it too much. If they keep breaking, maybe look into Pegas blades, which is Pegas, or Nikwa. Is it A? No. I don't know how to spell Nikwa. Because when I buy them here, they're called Flying Dutchman. So, you know, the tension, you can hear how high pitched that is. So we got plenty of tension on there. Yeah, I know you can get some Flying Dutchman blades on Amazon. They're going to be really expensive compared to buying them from like Bear Woods. But they're available. These are made by Olson. Isn't it much easier if you take the woods and then point it out on the direction that you've been cutting for? I'm not sure. Hey, Artem, how's it going? Oh, ever used omnidirectional blades? Yeah. I don't have any down here. They'll get you out of a bind. But yeah. So they take these blades and then they twist them. So they cut in all directions. They're called spiral blades. And they work. They're not my favorite for this. They tend to leave a much rougher surface. I have a video where I made like a 4-foot long sign on a little scroll saw. I use them a lot if I'm making like little fretwork and I'm cutting like really, really thin plywood. Yeah, I got the anti-disestablishmentarianism sign video on here that I made with that in much thicker wood. I just want to demonstrate that you're not tied to the depth of the blade. These are cherry. I've got one more cherry, and then we'll be hitting the hard maple. Yeah, so this is the cherry, and then that's the maple. But I get it because, yeah, you could get maple that's this color too. I cut out a couple of walnut ones this morning as well. And that walnut feels like it's hard maple. Sometimes walnut is just, I don't know, balsa woody where it's real real soft, and sometimes it's really super hard. So hey, Artem, how's it going? Welcome in. Good morning. It is now 7 a.m. here. Mostly cloudy with a temperature of 61 degrees, with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 55. So the next step with these would be sanding and balancing. So yeah, this is a Turkish drop spindle. So if you think of it, it's kind of like a flywheel where there'll be a big long shaft sticking through it. Oh, I'm also running my saw off a foot pedal. So there's a couple different kinds of foot pedals. There's a dead man where you put your foot down, it starts it. Take your foot off, it shuts it off. And then I have a powered maintain switch, which I'm currently using, where you step on it once to turn it on, and then step on it again to shut it off. So I have both pedals by my feet. I can switch the power from one to the other. So if I'm cutting out something with a whole bunch of little holes, I'll probably go to a dead man. So foot on, cut, 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 take your foot off, quickly switch things around, foot back on. But for these, I've got enough time where it doesn't make sense to do that. I'm also sitting down, I've got a stool. So this stand here is flat. So this is level here. My main production saw I have upstairs is set at a really, I'm not sure how many degrees, but it's set at an angle. That way things slide down, and I'm sitting on a like a comfy office chair. All right, now we're to the hard maple. Let me grab a sip of coffee here. And we'll get going. How does the template not rip? Well, it's glued down. So we use spray adhesive and we put it on top of the tape. Occasionally it'll come up, but we use quite a bit of glue to keep it down. Yeah, definitely. I used to use this spray adhesive directly on the wood, but to get the pattern off, you'd either have to sand it off or put like mineral spirits on it. And I really didn't want to spend every day, all day soaking in mineral spirits. I mean, if you're doing like one little project, that's fine. But, you know, this is what I do for a living. And the tape also helps lubricate the blade a little bit. So when you're working with cherry, it does help from it burning. I should probably make a video about that. So in the past, I've had a tape, no tape, and tape, and when I cut through, it looked fine, and then it got all kind of dark and toasty where there wasn't tape, and then when it got back to tape, it looked fine again. So yeah, we're currently cutting hard maple. Yeah, this is a number 7 Olson PGT blade, precision ground tooth. So look at it. So we're cutting nice and square. A lot of times when you're working with, especially with hard materials like this, you can actually put too much pressure on it when you're turning at when you're cutting a curve, and then instead of cutting square, you'll tweak the blade and it'll be cutting at an angle. And look at the finish we're getting too. See, you get the reflection off the lights. I mean, they need to be sanded, but I'm not going to complain about that finish. So if you like go to a store and buy these blades, they're the same price as the Mach Speed blades, but instead of 12, you only get 6. So they're twice the cost of the next, I guess, the next tier down. But if you order them directly from Olson, they're pretty reasonable, you know. But you have to order a gross. So it's probably a good idea to, you know, buy one package to see if you like them before you buy 144 of them. Yep, so when you're cutting on a scroll saw, there's a balance between how much pressure you can put on the blade. You know, what kind of feed rate you're dealing with. Right? So, for this application, other than the hole in the middle, a bandsaw would be fine. But I feel like it's such a better finish off this saw. You know, and I don't have to make any relief cuts. Now, Pegas, they make a bandsaw. Pegas is a blade manufacturer. They make really good blades. Well, they have a bandsaw that takes this size blade. So a very, very, very thin blade like this. And, you know, there's not much of a curve to it. So if you make a lot of bandsaw boxes, you can really tighten in your tolerances with it. Granted, the blades are like I believe they're $50 a piece. And for every size you have to buy a different size like roller on the back, because everything is made for this specific little blade. They're expensive, but I would like to play with them. You know, cut the outsides out in that, and then just cut the insides out in there. We have 2, 4, 5, 6 more to go. Then we're going to go upstairs, get some coffee, and grab some more stuff to cut. I know I've got some purple heart up there I need to cut. And we'll see what time my partner comes in. I wasn't feeling well last night, so I went to bed at like 7 o'clock. And I woke up at 5. So I got dressed and I walked to the shop. A little more than half a mile walk. Kind of nice. So I have a little blower here. I dropped it and broke it, so yeah. This isn't stock. I know it looks awesome. But yeah, it's just a little, about the size of a hand drill. I got it at Menards. I believe it was a whopping $20 with the battery. All right, give me a second here. There we go. Come on. There we go. I think I'm going to have to move my antenna for the wireless feed. So this is my first time in the basement. So I moved all my scroll saws down here so I can work off hours without upsetting the upstairs neighbors. So we could do some late night subterranean scrolling. Or early morning scrolling. So this is actually going to work out pretty well for me. I'm going to get all these cut out. And then I'm working on prototyping a segmented bowl, segmented yarn bowl. So I got the segments cut out. I got to do the bottom today and then glue it all up. So it'll let me play around with that today. Now, as far as the spray adhesive I use to glue the pattern on, I'm a big fan of Super 77. It's made by 3M. I've tried a lot of different spray adhesives in my life. I've been scroll sawing since the mid '80s, and I always come back to Super 77. Just a good spray adhesive. So that's my plug for Minneapolis mining manufacturing. Or 3M. So I'm just verifying that the holes are centered. I'm using just a rat tail bastard file. It's a 1/4 inch diameter, so it matches up with the hole. All right, we got 3 more to cut out. So the saw does have dust collection. But it's a big plastic shroud that fits over the top here. And then you have to run a vacuum cleaner. And I really don't want to run a vacuum cleaner all the time, so I don't use it. But that's what these holes are for. So... So I'm just filling up my shoes with sawdust. Hey guys, welcome in. We are playing on the scroll saw today. We're currently cutting hard maple using a number 7 blade. It is a double skip tooth modified geometry blade with reverse teeth as well. It's an Olson PGT blade, precision ground tooth. It's a very aggressive blade. Same blade for the past half hour, and it is still cutting beautifully. You know, growing up, the rule of thumb has always been if you're constantly cutting, after 15 minutes, swap your blade out. It's not going to be cutting as nice. But I tend to run my blades for much longer than that. Because I'm pretty sure the people who make the blades came up with that idea. As long as you're not burning and you're getting a nice cut, stick with it. So right here, they do have a hold down foot. So it'll be a big piece that'll sit over the top of the blade here to help hold the wood down and keep your fingers away from the blade. It gets in the way. So it's very rare to see them actually used. So I think I jinxed myself. Now it's time to change the blade. We'll cut the middle out and then we'll swap this one out. Hey, Dion, welcome in. Sir Clippins. Yes, we were making some very small banana-shaped things. We're making croissants. We're making Turkish drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. I am streaming very early, and I'm also in the scary basement. There we go. So we're going to swap the blade out. So there we go. So I keep my blades in test tubes. Oh, I'm not watching scary ghost stories. I'm watching true crime murder stuff this morning. Actually, I'm watching commercials right now. So it's a little iffy down here. I'm going to have to move my antenna upstairs. So, scary basement. It's the fun basement that, you know, I can stand up in this section, but a lot of it I can't stand up in. Hence, the lights all have the cages around them, which makes me feel like I'm in a submarine. The audio's fine. So I'm streaming from my computer upstairs. Yeah, I think I need to move a box fan down here, put a fan down here, and I think I'll be good to go. You could definitely scare yourself. Do I feel like I'm alone down here? Well, I'm with you guys, right? So no, I don't. Nothing negative. But yeah, I woke up at like 5:30ish. I went to bed early. I wasn't feeling good, and So I woke up. I didn't want to wake Vicky up, so I just I walked to work this morning, which is good, right? That's one of the advantages of having the tablet down here. So if I see movement, that's what it is. So, you know, I really don't want to make noise before 8 a.m. It appears that my pain in the butt neighbors are moving out. So we still have neighbors in the front right now. I will keep telling myself that. So, you know, I figured setting up down here, I can work in the middle of the night and I'm not going to bother anybody. All right, so we're going to run upstairs, grab some more stuff to cut, and get more coffee. So yeah, it's not bad. I keep bonking my head on that light, so. Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask Vicky when I'll let her know that when she comes into work. I don't think she's here. I didn't hear the. No, I'm all by myself. Let's get some coffee. So my goal is to drink a pot of coffee. So this is my normal saw that I'm cutting with. Oh. All right. Where is my cell phone? In your hand, Scott. No, not that cell phone. Give me 1 second here. Huh. Is it down in the basement? Yeah. Okay, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So we'll grab some wood, grab some coffee. Try not to get pushed down the stairs. Loud enough to raise the dead. Yeah. Well, normally when I'm sawing, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Like he's sanding and... Must be poltergeists. They're back. Now, we had a conversation about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. We should be good for a while. All right, so this is Purple Heart. No idea why I call it Purple Heart. Definitely a good movie. So I'm going to cut this in half. You can see how when you cut it, it goes from purple to brown. Once it gets some UV on it, some daylight on it, it'll darken back up. Heat will also work. Oh, I ordered the press for making the sawdust bricks. So I'm going to be experimenting with it. So it's a paper press for recycling paper. So I'm going to set up a bucket, and then I'm going to mix cardboard and the sawdust in there. Kind of let it sit for a couple days and then press it into bricks. So we'll play with that and figure out what works, what ratio we need, and we'll see how long I can burn my scrap and burn my sawdust in the fireplace. So I have a number 2 pencil. It's got very thick lead for as far as mechanical pencils go. They're sold as let's learn how to write with a pencil pencils. So yeah, this is a blower built into it. It's mainly there just to blow the dust off where you're cutting so you can see. I don't have the extractor running because I don't want to listen to the vacuum down here. Something to think about. I do have a dust extraction, like a ceiling mount dust extractor. Not really a dust extractor. The hell do they call it? It's an air circulator. I don't have it set up. Like I said, this is my first time cutting down here. So I am far, far, far away from the furnace. And honestly, the cold air return is clear on the other side of the building. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes it's like you have to question, is it purple heart or not? Because it's brown. So I'll probably hook up the air thing. But the ceilings are so low, it might be sitting like, 2 feet above me. So yeah, having the scroll cell down here is actually, it's going to help. Because sometimes I can't sleep. It'd be nice to be able to work a little bit. And it's kind of nice. That little recording area that I had set up, I actually dismantled that. And that's the bench I'm using down here. It also let me rearrange the shop a little bit. So we have a little bit more room up there. Oh, I did all that looking for my phone, and then where's my phone? Let's see if the phone was down here. Yeah, but I'm not gonna be. Oh, it's on the floor. Yeah, but I'm not gonna be running that stuff in the middle of the night either. So, I can look at the 3D printers. I can launch the cameras on them and see what they're doing. Like the lasers, not so much. The CNC machine, not so much. But I'm not going to run those in the middle of the night. Hey, Kay, welcome in. Привет. Yep, it's 8 a.m. here. Yeah, so this should free me up to play today because I'll have all these cut out. So I got 4 segmented bowl rings that I have to send through the drum sander. And then glue those together. I need to make a base today for that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Oh, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee, so I'm doing all right. Yeah, caffeine doesn't really affect me like that. Yep, these are, this is the mini. This is the smallest one I make. So yeah, these arms are 2 inches long. So, oh, check it out. So, there you go. 5 centimeters. Yeah, I believe these are more of an activity. I think people spin them up and use them as decoration more than anything. I mean, these are for like cobweb to lace weight, so really, really thin yarn. But sometimes cute's all you need. I mean... So I used to, I don't know if they're still there, I haven't looked in a while. I have a disclaimer on these, on the website, trying to discourage people who don't know how to spin from buying them, because they're not going to work for you. So the normal mini ones are 2.5 inches. These are like the super minis. There, by tucking it under there, that'll stop it from vibrating. So, this airline is okay, but if I would swap this out for like regular lock line, it wouldn't be wobbling like that. This isn't very secure. It's fine, it works. But they do not give lock line away either. If I can tuck it in there or zip tie it to something, I'm more than willing to do that. Oh, give me 1 minute. All right, I am back. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. All right, so we're done with the Purple Heart ones. Now we have some cherry ones. We'll finish that one up too, obviously. These are decos, so 2 arms with a bunch of holes cut in them. All right, have a great day. Yeah, I'm going to finish up these 3 and then going to go upstairs and get set up to work today. If Vicky ever comes to work, I was going to take her out to breakfast, but we'll see. She didn't come to bed till way late last night. These are inventory. Yep. So we try to keep one set of the Purple Heart ones in stock, so people can order all 3 at once. So they're made out of the same wood, so they'll match. So we sold 1 set, so now we're making another set. Yeah, and we're just trying to pump out. We're not really in show mode quite yet. That being said, we are starting to hold some aside for the shows. So if you're just tuning in, we do festivals. We do sheep and wool festivals. And between September and October, we have 3 shows. We got Wisconsin Sheep and Wool at mid-September. And then I believe early October, we have a show in California. And then at the end of October, we have a show in North Carolina. So we need to have 3 shows worth of inventory ready to go in September. Plus keep up on, wholesale orders and keep the websites going, and yeah. So we'll be busy, which is a good thing. So for these inner parts here, I am splitting the line. So when you cut, you have to decide if you're going to cut in the line, outside the line, or inside the line. These were splitting the line. But when we cut the exterior parts, we'll go to the outside of the line. For this, it doesn't really matter what you do, but you have to be consistent and do them all the same. Hello, Will in New York. Good morning. I'm in Wisconsin. And New York has a very, very nice 5 store. It's really big. It's in Rhinebeck. And it's New York Sheep and Wool. It's crazy. The size of it. We don't do that. We did that show with somebody else in the past. I haven't applied in 2 years. I should probably apply. These do not have laser engraving on them. Those would be the Turkish style. It would be the Delights. You go every year since you're a kid? It's a great show. I haven't been there for, I would say, probably 5 years, 6 years, maybe a little bit longer. The last year that I went was the year that that drunk person decided to play bumper cars in the parking lot. Oh, this is a big affair too. Nice. Oh, the air balloon rides? That's awesome. So my biggest issue was for a few years, New York City World was the same weekend as the show that I did do in North Carolina. For lots of years, a week apart, so you could do Rhinebeck and then go down to SAF. So I'm thinking I need to reapply. I mean, I've been doing this full time for 13 years now. The last couple times I applied, I got a form letter back. There's a fee to apply. And it basically said, we're not what you're looking for. And I'm thinking, huh, that's funny. I'm exactly what you're looking for. So these I originally designed to be 3D printed. So that's why they have a whole bunch of really long straight lines, which is like a pain in the butt to cut on a scroll saw. So I'll come back with a belt, a sander and kind of sand it. Can I? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Can you make a wooden '57 Chevy? If I had a pattern and the time, yes, yes, I could. Sorry about that. I'm usually pretty good. Totally missed that comment. Ah, the good old 5.67 Chevys. little bit more. I'm getting there. So we're just making sure the holes are centered. So yeah, these are cherry. So 5/8 of an inch thick, or yep, 18 mil. I think it said centimeters before. Man, I'm way off by a factor of 10. Well, at least I didn't say kilometers. That would be horrible. So we are looking into upgrading our laser. I'm kind of looking at I want to get an F1 Ultra because they can do curved surfaces and they scan it with a laser across it rather than using a probe like my S1 has. So it should be a little bit more straightforward. And it looks like they're phasing out the F1 entirely, the Xtool F1. And I don't know about the Ultra, but it's on sale now. So we're not quite ready to buy it just quite yet. So it might be a different model by the time we get there. Big dollar though, yeah. I mean, it depends what you consider high dollar. I do want to get the conveyor for it, so. Yeah, nobody gives anything. Oh, they're gonna be a pain in the butt. Okay. Yeah. So by the time you have the conveyor and everything, it's gonna be, between, 3 and 4.5 grand. So not insane, but it's more than my first car. But it's got a camera on it, and it can use a conveyor. And if I'm making earrings, I can just throw a handful of earrings on the conveyor, and it would go through and do its best to center them. Nothing is 100%, but just line them up on the conveyor, hit go, let the conveyor work through them all. They don't have to be in any alignment. It'll figure out where they are. Could be a time saver, and you can just walk by every once in a while and throw another handful on and keep going. Do I 3D print using wood filament? I have not. You think I would, but I have not. And I've been 3D printing for, God, a long time. Since the 3D printers are in the workshop, I think everything is wood filament. Yeah, if PLA works for what you're doing, I don't know why you'd try to force yourself to use something else. I print a lot of PLA. And I print a lot of TPU. I should be playing with some more exotic fibers. TP is a flexible one, yep. Thermoplastic urethane. It's one of those filaments where you have to keep it dry, so you know, I'll put it in the dryer the day before I need to use it and keep it running and running and running while I'm using it as well. In the wintertime, it's not so bad, but in the summer, it does get humid here. And TPO really, really sucks up the moisture in the air. I actually make a drop spindle out of TPU. Which makes it pretty bulletproof, so it's not going to break. Now, after I get the laser engraver, the new laser engraver paid off, I want to, I'm going to be getting a different 3D printer. I really don't know what model I have. I want to get a multi-nozzle printer. I want to be able to print, you know, let's say PLA and TPU, where I could build the spindle out of PLA or whatever, and then on the inside I could put TPU, so when you push it together it locks into the rubber rather than into the plastic. Something to play with. But that's a ways off too. I do not have any resin printers. You know, I never had them because it's just, they're so messy and smelly. But now that I'm in the workshop, you know, I could probably get away with it. I mean, if I made miniatures or, you know, something like that, it would be perfect. Yeah, very good for fine work. You know, if you'd like cast jewelry or whatever, it'd be great for that. Yeah. You know, figurines perfect, you know, and then use, you know, PLA if you're making landscapes or whatever. Oh. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a stream. I'm going to get upstairs and start organizing and patiently wait for Vicky to wake up or come to work. And if I don't hear from her in about a half hour, I'll start calling. So, all right. Well, we lived through one scary basement day. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much. And as always, just be nice to people. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. Have a good one.